Yeah, before starting over, thanks a lot, Andreas, for inviting me, and also to Michael Edgar for hosting this great event. It's been a pleasure working with you guys up to now, and I'm really looking forward to the collaborations ahead of us. Just give me a sec to actually activate my screen here. Ah, great. So today I want to convey actually three messages to you. At first, cold environments can be found nearly everywhere. Second, cold environments can malaffect technical devices. And the third message is, of course, that Coldsense can help you to withstand this threat of cold environments. My name is Steven Bensmer. I'm co-founder of Coldsense Technologies. Welcome to my talk today. To motivate my presentation, I actually have picked this nice photo of Chicago in the winter period. So you see it's very cold outside there, and even Lake Michigan is frozen. And indeed, there are many technical projects which are challenged by such cold environments because ice can build up. Ice, for instance, will induce structural vibrations on wind turbines, so they need to shut down. Ice will deteriorate aerodynamics, so this makes aircraft operation and UAV operation vulnerable. And also, ice is the reason why industrial cooling devices become inefficient, a big issue in the food industry, which I will explain later on. In the following slides, I want to actually show you how fast ice accretion can occur. So you will see with this little image sequence here that in an amount of less than 2 minutes, a lot of ice actually accumulated. And this ice will malaffect your technical devices. This is also where the mission of Coldsense Technologies jumps into. Don't let ice stop your business. So we are a high-tech startup from Germany providing innovative solutions to withstand the threat of cold environments. And we do this with quite a variety of products that I want to highlight on my next slide. Our equipment is based on 3 pillars. Ice detectors to provide early warning for ice. Non-stick coatings to reduce ice accretion, and also intelligent de-icing systems that are able to remove pre-existing layers of ice. Our portfolio is further complemented by software and services. We offer forecasting tools to predict icing risks, but also R&D support, factory optimization for those companies where no specialized engineers are employed, which have access to icing resources. In conclusion, the benefits to our customers are more security, more efficiency, and also an increased profitability. I want to highlight this in actually one showcase in the food industry. This little showcase brings us in a factory, and in a factory where a lot of people work and a lot of technology is involved for food processing. At the end of this process chain, there's actually a cold store warehouse. This cold store warehouse is cooled down to temperatures of about 14 Fahrenheit, very cold temperatures, and it's done by a heat exchanger. We heard about heat exchangers today already. So here's an image how such a heat exchanger can actually look in such a cold store warehouse. Everything is accumulated with ice. About 44 pounds of ice was accumulated every week. And this made the system very, very inefficient. Beyond that, also the maintenance staff need to do de-icing activities over the weekend to make the system stable. So our client actually wanted to avoid this kind of scenario. He actually wanted to have an automated system that prevents this manual de-icing procedure. And he is also interested to having something very robust to withstand the very harsh environments of warehouse logistics. To this end, he also was interested to have a cost-benefit analysis to figure out when his investment costs are depreciated. Coldsense now came up with a very interesting solution to automate this de-icing cycles of the heat exchanger. We did this by installing quite a couple of ice detectors in the entire warehouse, and we coupled this with a control unit. This control unit now collected a lot of data and used machine learning algorithms to combine the data and optimize the operation of the heat exchanger. In consequence, there was a significant reduction in both the power consumption of the system, but also a reduction of the environmental footprint of the entire factory. The board of Coldsense consists of 3 persons. It's David Borzinski, Juan Velandia, and myself, Stephen Bensmer. We are a very international team, I have to say, bringing together expertise from quite a variety of areas, including R&D, production, industrial engineering, international customer relations, and also management. And yeah, with my 10 years of experience in the icing business, I can repeat and refine my mission of the company again. Don't let ice stop your business in Chicagoland. To get in contact, contact us on LinkedIn and write me an email, stephen.bensmer@cold-sense.com. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Yeah, you're right. Chicago is cold enough and the whole area. With many warehouses where we have to ship the goods, so there's a lot of potential in the area. But I think Michael can talk better about what's potentially in it for you.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, one of the main, things with the United States or the Chicago area is the ability for these cold storage warehouses, where we have a lot of frozen pizza factories. And I have a friend of mine who works maintenance on the rooftop units, and they have to keep people there 24/7 to make sure that the freezer storage stays at the right temperature. And these are basically 100,000 square meters of facilities. So there's definitely a need to it. And is that a common problem with the compressors in freezer warehouses, that the icing builds up on a machine?
Yeah, it is. It is actually a big issue in the entire food industry. And the reason for that is because you can't trick the physics. As soon as you have humidity in the air and this cooling unit, the humidity will freeze out there, ice will accumulate, and then you're stuck with this kind of system. Quite a lot of companies have to deal with this kind of issue.
And for your product, is there an ideal size to it? Let's say if it's a 200-ton chiller versus a 5-ton chiller for basically what we call a convenience store that's running and could ice up because nobody's paying attention to it, versus an industrial warehouse.
Mm-hmm. So we are very much interested in industrial warehouses. There our ice detectors really serve a very good deal of purpose, because there we usually at first look into the warehouse. Not every warehouse is the same. This is what we made as an experience. So we had at first to look into the factory, sort out how the processes are done. And then this is, I think, something which is very special to Coldsense Technologies. We are not interested to just sell ice detectors. We are really interested to work very close together with the factory owners and operators to come to a customized solution. So far, we have made experience with really large facilities. As you could see in this kind of image, combining a lot of information from detectors together with machine learning algorithms, and this is a real strength of our company.
Okay, so let's talk about that next piece, which is the consulting on refrigerated warehouses, and tell us about some of the experience that you have with that, and basically perfecting systems.
Well, actually, the experience that we have so far is quite very exciting, because Coldsense can look back with its engineers on quite a long history of icing experience, and this is some topic which you cannot learn within a few months. So we really needed quite some time to get into the matter. And in contact with our customers, we realized that they really appreciate this kind of knowledge base. They also liked the way that we not just do things remotely, make some web conferences, and then sell them a product. It's really going down to their factory, really see the process, see how workers are doing, and seeing how the facility operates. And our engineers really also like this experience, because then you really think in the way the factory owner thinks, and this in a discussion with the factory operators always brings up solutions that are better than you would set up all alone. So we really like this consulting activity a lot.
Now, through some of your case studies, have you demonstrated a lot of energy reductions in using the sensing technology, but also some of the other de-icing pieces to create a holistic solution to work with a cold storage facility?
Yeah, absolutely. Indeed, I show you some of the images where such a heat exchanger was completely deteriorated. And then, of course, the energy savings that you can get are really astronomical. Not only in terms of energy saving, but as I mentioned, some people need to de-ice such devices, and oftentimes production is done over weekdays, and at least here in Europe, many of these food industries have closed around the weekends. So then people need to come on the weekends to do such maintenance work. And of course, if you can come up with a solution that avoids this additional work, people are very, very happy. And I think power reductions in a realistic scenarios can vary. It's also a function of the factory and the warehouse where you are. Typical values are around 10%.
And that's substantial. I mean, again, knowing some people in the freezer warehouse space, the energy just to run, a 100,000 square foot or meter facility is crazy. I mean, and the one I'm thinking about right now has a crew of 5 people continuously on site in 3 shifts, just maintaining and making sure all the compressors are working. And these are these super compressors that have to go down to these really cold temperatures. So understanding that energy savings is one of those things that really are important when you're dealing with cold and cold storage. And so what are some other uses for the technology? Because the sensors are great. You also have some other de-icing solutions too. Where's your focus going to be for the next 12 months?
So we are now actually in a phase where we are dealing a lot with different market branches. And the selection of photos that I gave you in one of the introductory slides, where I mentioned wind energy, where I mentioned aviation, but also things like ground transportation are now branches with which we are really in contact. You can see ice detection and this early warning to safely shut down devices is a big deal, which is needed on the market. But also to combine this detection technology with intelligent de-icing devices is one of our big goals, and also part of our product range. And so, in this year ahead of us, 2021, we are really are engaging in quite a lot of these branches, a lot more. And then at the end of the year, we will evaluate what went quite well. And so far, I have to say that food industry is quite high potential.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. And the idea of making sure problems don't happen or preemptive strategies is very important. A quick story from when I was a recent architect graduate from university. One of the first projects I worked on was a furniture store. And it was very interesting that the most important thing for the owner of the furniture store was to create an alarm that would buzz the manager's office the first day it got below 35 degrees to remind them to basically decommission the sprinkler system or the landscape sprinkler system because they didn't want it to freeze and explode during the winter. And so that's pushing almost 30 years now. But so the importance of doing an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and having sensors and making sure you don't have burst pipes is, in the cold climate of Chicago, very important. I know personally on larger buildings, even the building that we have here, or for summer rentals up in Door County, needing that alarm that sets off that the house has not been winterized for winter for a 3-season cabin. When it is really horrible watching exploded pipes, because that is never easy to fix. And so that those are some good markets and definitely a need for a product like that.
All right, very good to know.
Yeah. And so I think, what I'll do too is I'll talk to some of our EDOs here, economic development officers, that have cold storage, cold freezer warehouses in their districts, and I'll see if I can make some warm introductions for you to at least talk with them to see if there's a product market fit for Coldsense.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Michael. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Big potential in the area here because it's ice cold. We've got a lot of warehouses. We've got the airport here, so I can hardly wait to get you over and that Michael, you and I tour the area and have a look at some use cases here. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely. And Stephen, I wanted to thank you very much for presenting. And then Andreas, we're going to wrap up. We're just about out of time. We have about 2 minutes to finish our. And
for bringing Niedersachsen to the Chicagoland area for exploring opportunities. And what I like most is working on concrete ideas. And now we've got 3 companies which are looking to expand to the area, which need warehouse, production, sales, and help. And I can't wait to get it off the ground together with you. Thank you so much for bringing us here and taking the time.
And you're very welcome. And before everybody goes, next month we're going to be working with Skokie. We're going to be working on resources for accelerators and venture capital. And our country spotlight will be Spain, and we'll be talking about the accelerator programs from the country of Spain. So I'm really looking forward to continued working with you, Andreas. It is always a pleasure. I always have a great time working
I'll
with
be
you.
tuning in next month because incubators is one of my hottest topics. I love to see what's going on always in the Chicagoland area. So.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. I hope this was beneficial and actionable for everybody. And I want to say, what is it? How do you say it in German? Auf Wiedersehen? Is that what you say? Auf Wiedersehen. All right. So, Auf Wiedersehen to everybody. So thank you all. And I'll see you next month.